The Shark Deck.
Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Fashion brand Percival has announced to celebrate 25 years since the final episode of Seinfeld aired, and in celebration of 100 years of Warner Brothers, sure, why not, we bring you Seinfeld X Percival, a limited edition Seinfeld collection featuring your favorite moments in true Percival style, okay? So the late bot chimed in and said, hey, did you guys hear about the new Seinfeld clothing line? It's like a stand-up routine for your wardrobe. It's called What's the Deal with Fashion? Yeah, the Seinfeld clothing line, apparently the clothes are so comfortable, they make sitting in a diner booth for hours on end feel like a breeze. Let me tell you, it's all about the puffy shirt aesthetic. You'll look like a pirate on a yacht, ready to deliver some punchlines. The Seinfeld clothing line is perfect for those who want to look sophisticated while complaining about the most mundane things. It's like wearing a tuxedo while discussing the proper way to eat cereal. The clothing line is all about the pilot episode look. You'll find lots of blazers, high-waisted pants, and hairstyles that say, I'm still trying to figure out my character, but I'm confident it's going to work. Here's the actual story from Cracked Percival, who's an East London clothier that combines a quintessentially British sense of understated style and rare internationally sourced fabric and materials. So, Seinfeld? What? Okay, there's a Seinfeld-inspired plain brown jacket. You know how much it costs? $385. You were right. You guessed exactly correct. Crack points out if you really want to dress like Jerry Seinfeld, you can get a very similar jacket at the Gap for $75. All right, maybe something a little cheaper. How about a plain black t-shirt that says, Hello, Newman? $67. It doesn't even have a picture of Newman on it. It just says, Hello, Newman. The Pop-In shirt has the show's logo hiding in a checkerboard design. That runs you $195. $210 Seinfeld-themed trousers, $210 George and Jerry embossed sweaters. No. Do you like using Waze when you're in traffic? I'm a Waze advocate, use Waze all the time. If Waze told me to go from my house to your house through Antarctica, I'd be like, I don't know, doesn't sound right, but I'm going to do it. Because anytime you ignore Waze, you get there and you find that the tree has smashed into a train and there's a forest fire and you're going to be there for 9 hours and you're like, why didn't I make the left on Main Street like it told me to? Well, the Waze voice, if you really like to customize things, can be Hasan Minhaj. He'll be entertaining users with relatable commentary on traffic. Now, I love Waze. I hate the gimmick Wazes. I just want traffic. I don't need stale jokes from any comedian. It's not why I'm there. Just tell me which way to go. Also, you know what Waze needs to add? It needs to add the, yes, I know how to get out of my own neighborhood, then start telling me voice directions. It needs that feature. Because usually I have to hit sound off because, I know, there's a stop sign at the end of my block. I know. And then I get on the highway and then I turn it on. It needs an in-between mode. Know what I'm saying, Waze? You can also change your icons. There's now a Suburban Dad minivan icon, which represents Minhaj's status as a father. Little stretch there. There's also a Hasan Minhaj-inspired mood icon, which is how drivers appear on the map. Once enabled, users can navigate the road in Suburban Dad energy. If you'd like to do this, go to Customize Your Drive in the menu, select Hasan Minhaj. Aaron Rodgers is coming to the New York Jets. He's friends with Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer was talking about nicknames because Joe Namath was Broadway Joe, and Bert said, it's got to be something cool like Midtown Aaron, Downtown Aaron, Uptown Aaron, and he said, Uptown Aaron, that's a good one. Then he broke out into a song based on Billy Joel's Uptown Girl. I'm not going to sing, but the lyrics go, Uptown Aaron, you've been living in Green Bay. I'm kind of toxing like David Lee Roth, but now you're all the way in Flushing, Queens. Bert, what kind of Jets fan are you? The Jets haven't played in Flushing, Queens since 1985. The rest of the lyrics. And now you're going to get a falafel there or comb your hair and your Uptown Aaron. Sing along. With the late night shows on strike, publicists seem a little stretch. One insider told the Hollywood Reporter, these shows are hugely important, even if viewership is down across the board. You've got the YouTube and social media reach of all those talk shows and talk show personalities. We have these huge summer movies opening and had very big late night plans, which had to be scrapped. We're looking at what audiences we're losing and where else we can find that audience.
Hi, my name is TJ, and I host a daily radio show. I have a bunch of friends that join me for it every day, and believe it or not, we all still see hope in humanity. Are you one of these people too? We want to hang out with you. Just search for The TJ Show on your favorite podcasting platform, or join us at thetjshow.com. We would love to have you being hopeful about humanity with us. Here's a quick sample of what the show sounds like. Hey, welcome to The TJ. As you can tell, you need to hear more of it. Search for The TJ Show, and we can't wait to meet you.
Joe Rogan talked about getting into comedy back in 1988 and said, I started after the wave. Yeah, there was that whole wave of stand-up in the 80s kind of fizzled out. Rogan said, there were all those evening at the improv shows and stand-up specials like the MTV half-hour comedy hour. There was a lot of mediocre comedy out there. There were a lot of people who were doing what sounded like an impression of what a comedian should sound like, Joe says, but there was one comedian who stood out. It was Richard Jeni. Richard was great. I'll tell a Richard Jeni story on the other side of this. Rogan said, watching stand-up on TV, I used to love watching Richard Jeni on The Tonight Show. He's incredible. Rogan told a story about driving home and his phone just started randomly playing a Richard Jeni bit. He said, I was laughing so hard and driving home, he downloaded all of Richard's performances from that category. It made him realize how good Richard was as a comedian. So I saw Richard a few times. He called me directly one time when I was running SiriusXM Comedy, and he asked me why we were playing one of his bits that he had never released, and I was quite confused. And I said, Richard, it's on your album. And he said, no, it's not. Now I'm totally confused because Richard would kind of know what's on his album, but I'm looking at it going like, well, I didn't invent a Richard Jeni bit. And I said, hold on, let me get back to you. And I went on the computer. So when you would load a CD into the computer back in the day, an album would have a root number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then each individual track would have a sub number. So track 1 on the CD is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-001, next one 002, and so on. You know how numbers work. And the bit he was questioning was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-012, sitting nicely between 11 and 13. So I called him back and I'm like, I'm totally confused here. I'm not trying to steal your material. Don't know what's going on. But here's the track listing I have, A, B, C, D, 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 D. And he said, it's not on the album. And I dug a little deeper. We had gotten an advance copy of the CD from the record label. So on the advance copy, it was there. On the officially released album, it was taken off. So he must have changed his mind somewhere along the way. So I pulled the clip. No harm, no foul. Guy was cool enough. Wasn't a jerk about it. Totally appreciate you, Richard. You were a great comedian. Have you been watching Ted Lasso? No spoilers at all here. Zero spoilers. But this season, the AV Club has the headline, Ted Lasso recap. This show cannot seem to get out of its own way. Again, no spoilers. This season, the series has yet to meet a thorny plot it can't neatly solve within an episode's time. They add, they can't stress enough how much episode length, the episodes are longer now, almost an hour, has hurt what was once of the sunniest, funniest comedies around. This used to be one of the shows my wife and I would watch together, and I've just lost interest. I'm going to finish it, but the show has become like a drag to watch. When it came out during the pandemic, it was just happy and bright, and it was about soccer. And this season, it's just about all these other things. And I'm like, I don't know, can we just go out there and I think just run the playbook, right? So season 1, hey, we got relegated. Season 2, hey, we made it back to the Premier League. So this year, whatever, get relegated. Just do like soccer kind of stuff. All this other drama, I don't want that. I just want like lights and happy and Brett Goldstein hating on things. And I don't know, they overthought season 3 of Ted Lasso. I'm not the only one feeling this way, nor is the AV Club. You will find tons of articles about Ted Lasso season 3. Very disappointing. John Cleese has more information about the reboot of Fawlty Towers. Chortle reports John Cleese is killing off Basil Fawlty's wife Sybil for the reboot. It had been previously announced that the new version will take place in the Caribbean. It's being run by Basil Fawlty's daughter, likely to be played by John Cleese's real-life daughter Camilla. John has now explained the new character was an illegitimate child born from Basil's illicit affair with a hotel guest. He told The Sun, Sybil dies, and Basil goes to see his daughter because it was all part of a naughty affair that he once had with a guest at the hotel. Cleese explained that the new series would start with a mistyped type message. John said, the new one starts with Sybil's death and Basil's daughter getting a text message from her father saying, Sybil did. She texts back, Sybil did what? Basil's about to deliver the eulogy and says what an absolutely wonderful woman Sybil was, and then the camera pans around and you see that behind his back he has his fingers crossed. Prunella Scales played Sybil in the original. She is 90 and has Alzheimer's. Cleese previously said of setting the show in the Caribbean this time, if you put it in the Caribbean, it becomes very multiracial. People in the hotel business come from everywhere, so you can bring lots of different people together. The characteristic of Fawlty Towers was the pressure cooker atmosphere created in the hotel. John said, I must apologize. I had no idea that the idea of writing a new sitcom with my daughter would cause so much anger and distress. I truly meant no harm. Naively, I thought it might be fun, but I feel terrible about having released this tide of negative emotion. Please forgive me. Fawlty Towers co-creator and former wife Connie Booth said she had no idea about the reboot until she read about it in the papers. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow.